What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, The Unpopular Party, hosted by me, Party Next Short. And today we're just gonna talk about that viral teacher that went viral for letting them students take his hair down. I'm doing like a follow-up to it since more information has come out about it. Like he's fired and was under investigation. Just put my 2 cents in before I'm gonna put more sense into it. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you guys send my way. I'm gonna try to make this video real quick because I'm about to go to the movies. So without further ado, let's get started with my thoughts.
I thought I knew you.
So if you don't know about this whole viral situation that's been going on, here we have this man, he's like what, 29, 28, he's a science teacher, and he went viral for doing a video of letting these students take down your long hair. And if you haven't seen part one of my first thoughts on it, you know, pause, go check that out real quick. But yeah, more information is coming out with that situation because he was fired. It's still up in the air. I still don't know, was he fired or was he placed on an administrative leave? I don't know, something happened, but we got to the point where he was on the internet crying about something.
Amidst all the controversy that has come from this video that I posted, I wanted to come on here and read some of the messages that my students are sending me during some of the messages that they've been sending me. During this time. Hey bestie, I really hope that you see this message. How are you? I hope that you're okay. Our class misses you so much, and we really want you to know that we love you and we miss you so much and can't wait for you to come back. I can't believe that taking somebody's hair out is such a big deal, and it makes me so mad that people make little things big things. I want you to know that the class and others got your back, and we will always stand behind you and up for you no matter what happens. We got you. Again, we miss you and we love you so much, and can't wait for you to come back. I wish that this never happened because it feels like we're losing you.
Now let's dissect it, and this is what I want to say. I know a lot of people is like, oh, I cannot believe that y'all went and got this man fired. You know, he was being an innocent man. They need a leader. Like I stated in the TikTok, before we can even get into if it's appropriate or inappropriate, it's like 3 violations that we already got into. Let's just watch this TikTok I stated, right? So I'm saying that teacher allegedly got fired, which is unfortunate, but it's not surprising. It's kind of like cause and effect. As teachers who make content, you have to understand that when you post your content, it has the chance to go viral because you're putting it out there into the world. And if it goes viral, it has the chance to be met positively and negatively. You open the door for people to put their opinion on it. And before I even get into the act of him doing his hair, I'm already seeing 3 strikes. For one, you're posting minors on the internet on your own personal platform. That's a big no-no. I know a lot of people be like, well, what's the big deal? Let me map some stuff out to you, okay? Under 18, you're a child. Let's just say little Jayla is in the witness protection program, or her mother is trying to protect her from an abusive father. She sends her child to school, but you as the teacher post her onto your personal platform. Let's say that crazy daddy saw it. Now he knows exactly where little Jayla is. Everything is always 10 times more complex. But you say, well, the parents gave permission. Did they give verbal permission, or did they sign a legal medical release? Because all it takes is one. All it takes is one mother who's uncomfortable with this backlash. I ain't tell my daughter she had permission to leave class to go work on some man hair. Now it's another problem. Strike 2. Strike 3, your school information is out there. Schools do not like their name associated with negative press, so sometimes they will save face. 3 strikes right there, and we haven't even got into if this is appropriate or inappropriate. Now, personally, for me, I do think it's inappropriate because the key word is boundaries. To you, the outside looking in, it's not that deep. School is still a professional setting. I'm not saying they have to be working 24/7. It's the end of the semester. But there's other ways to bond with your student from a non-physical aspect. I don't think that man had any ill in teachers, but as educators and as leaders, you have to have that eye to stop it at the source. You may think we bugging, but there's so many cases where things have went left. You probably don't remember this situation, but just recently in December, that cheer coach who was a pillar in her community, I'm talking about going viral for her cheer dances, respected by her audience. She kind of moved the same way, acting as if she was their peer. Posting TikToks with these students, you would have thought she was one of the students. But guess what she has to show for her legacy? A mugshot, because she was sleeping with one of them students. Mind you, she's a 31-year-old woman married with a child. She threw her reputation away for a minor. It may have been innocent, but in this day and age, you have to have that eye be like, now, Mr. Williams, This is not okay. If he had permission from the teachers, the parents, the school, from everybody involved, my opinion on the situation would not have even mattered had you not posted this video. If it's a bonding moment, let it live within the realms of bonding. These kids have muscle memory. You posted it on the internet and it gave free will for everybody to have the opinion on it. These are not your cousins or nieces and nephews at your house. These are dealing with somebody else's kids in a professional setting. It's just not okay, but it's going for use better decision-making skills, you know? Everything I said in that video is valid. And as adults, especially as adults in places of power, you have to be very mindful of that. Every time you post something, you post it with the chance it can blow up, it can go viral, and it can reach outside your community. On paper, it sounds good, but it sounds good until it reaches outside your community and it's not met with positive reaction. It's met with negative reaction. And you have to be very mindful of that. You have to be very cautious of that. Not everything you put out there into the internet world is gonna be received well. Every time I log into TikTok, it's at least somebody cussing me out. But hey, that's what you signed up for as a content creator. But see, that's the problem with a lot of these teachers. They wanna be content creators first, teachers second. I'm seeing too many teachers that want to do like get ready with me. There's too many teachers that want to take us into the realms of the classroom but then be confused when the students lead by that example. I'm not saying that these students are innocent, because these students and these kids, they're getting worse, they're getting bad. However, you can't tell a student put your phone up, stop talking back, get serious, but then they look up and you on your phone doing TikToks, not leading by, you are the head of the classroom, you are leading by example. Now with that video that he posted, him crying, I didn't take it seriously. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was just a whole bunch of forcing a tear out. It's funny how like this algorithm, right? I never forget on that Friday when I first logged into my phone. You know, I got on TikTok not thinking nothing of it. The first thing that popped up on my TikTok was a video of him live. And he was basically live like saying like, I'm good. You know, I'm not saying, he didn't say like necessarily I don't care, but he just kept saying like, you know, if look at y'all, look at me, I see why they mad.
I got Cardi B on my side. I don't care about what no one else saying. I got Cardi B on my side. Cardi B. Who would have thought Cardi B would be talking about me, a teacher from Maryland? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? But core memory. I don't fit with the old 1900 way of living. Like, oh, you can't get tattoos, you can't do this, you can't wear that, and blah blah blah. Bro, I will pull up to school in jeans with my anime shirt because I'm a huge anime nerd. I'm gonna, and again, another way to connect with students and feel like they're seen and heard, and they're, you know, they can relate to their educator. We talk about anime together.
It was such a cocky tone to it. I'm like, well, okay, so it should not have no effect to you. So then once I saw that live, and then I saw like footage of TikTok afterwards, and he's crying and he's trying to force out a tear, I wasn't buying it. If anything, his ego is seeking out this attention and validation. It's the perfect chance to milk this. And then even with that, boundaries are still being crossed because he's reading out messages of these kids where they have texted him and been like, oh my gosh, bestie, I miss you. And
I know some ignoramus is going to comment this under this video, saying, oh, well, what about your students texting you? They have your number. I've never given out my personal number to a student in all of my years of being involved with the youth. I've never given out my personal number. I personally don't find that the most appropriate, and they don't need my personal number. Message me on email or on Class Dojo. The video you saw of me reading from my personal device, they were my work emails, because we have a county email since we're all in the county. And you can check your work email from your personal device. We can't just make generalizations off things we see on the internet, because clearly they hold no weight.
And it didn't help with him when people was like, oh, he was trying to shoot himself at a minor a couple years ago. I'm gonna play the video, y'all watch.
I chimed in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing the Jackson, be quiet. Shut the fuck up.
For that, I will say that was brought out of context and that was blown out of proportion. You know, we got to call it down the middle. And that was something that was a trend that happened a couple years ago, where it was like the email girl trend. And that girl in the video, I believe it was proven to be like she was an adult. She was in a bathroom. Is it a thing of corny? Yes. Perverted? I don't think so in that situation. He's also walked out and explained that as well.
I've already addressed this, but let's go ahead and do it again. And at this point, the people who are still deciding to be willfully ignorant and not look to prove themselves right or wrong, at this point, you're just assisting in my elevation. The more you comment stupid stuff like this, you're just boosting my page even more and putting money in my pocket. So for that, I appreciate you. But let's go ahead and deal with this again. This video was from a viral trend from 4 or 5 years ago. People were literally digging in my page 4 or 5 years back to try to find any and everything to fit this narrative that I'm a monster. And everything you brought forth, I've addressed with 100% transparency, similar to how I'm doing in this video. I have nothing to hide. Imagine shooting a man, emptying your entire clip on him, and he just stands there, unfazed. So again, this was a viral trend that I joined 4 or 5 years ago. If you type in when she only likes emo guys or emo trend, if you type it on TikTok, you'll see thousands of videos of people doing the same exact thing. I didn't know who this chick was. I still don't know who she is. I don't care to look into it. And back then, 4 or 5 years ago when I stitched the video, I didn't care to be an investigative journalist to find out exactly who this person was before I decided to stitch their video. I personally don't do an entire background investigation before I stitch another creator's video on TikTok.
And I know like he probably didn't think it was nothing wrong with that, but you have to be mindful for everything that you let slide through. Let's just say you don't have perverted thoughts. Let's just say you don't have inappropriate thoughts. For what you slide through as a whole, it's somebody out there who may be like, well, hey, this is how I can get them. They didn't have an issue with that, so I'm not doing it wrong. And I know you may be like, oh, you're projected. No, that's just unfortunate. That's just the world that we live in. We're seeing so many situations of teachers sleeping with students. Like I just talked about in that previous video with that cheer coach. That cheer coach who was a pillar of her community and she was sleeping with one of them students. Yes, it starts off innocent. It starts off as buddy. It starts off as pal. But if the adult is not being the adult in the situation, it can easily go left. Now you just ruined your whole reputation and career and put your whole life in jeopardy for a minor. Like I stated before and I stated again, I don't think that he was trying to post this out of ill intention. I was looking on his page. It do seem like he have a good bond with these students. It do seem like he has a good bond with the community. This is a situation of cause and effect. Consequences. Consequences.
Consequences. Consequences.
You have to remember you are the adult in the situation and just be mindful because you can easily blur those lines and be these kids' peers. Growing up, our teachers did set a certain boundary with them and it's for a reason. Get to twisting stuff, kids get to, all they have to say is, oh, Mr. Johnson, let me text him. Yeah, me and Johnson be on the phone talking all night long. He give me advice about stuff. Whoa. We can even add our teachers as friends. They wouldn't even accept our friend requests if we graduated from high school because it's just a thing like, first of all, my thing is this. Why you want these kids in y'all business? Like, I get it. Like, you know, you relate well with these kids. Cause you know, I used to be an educator. I worked in the school system for like 3 months. We'll cross that bridge in a second. But don't get me wrong, I get it. Like, you wanna help these kids out, but why you even wanna, I don't know, these kids, they get on my nerves. I used to tell them all the time, get back, y'all make me nervous. Y'all get on my nerves today. So to think about like, why would I want y'all on my Instagram? Why would I want y'all in my personal business? And that's not to be like, I dislike them because no, I'm always gonna have a certain love for y'all. It's gonna always be a certain way I have to move. Even to now, like, I may not have been these kids' teachers for a long period of time, but it's some students like, they're still, no matter what, to this day, they're going to look at my stuff and they're going to be like, oh yeah, that was my math teacher. And even to this day, I still have to be mindful of how I present myself onto the internet because I can't use to teach them X, Y, and Z, and then here I am going back and doing the same stuff I used to get on to them about. And that's, remember, at the end of the day, I am the adult in this situation, and sometimes being an adult, you're gonna do some stuff that they're not gonna like all the time. They're not gonna understand. Like my students, they couldn't stand me because that's just kids. They're not gonna like the adult that's holding them accountable. So a lot of stuff they did, they just didn't understand. Yeah, they thought I was doing too much. Yeah, they thought like, oh, I can't stand to get on my nerve. But I guarantee you, when something went left, Mr. Tyler, like, it's like when something went left, who was one of the people they was going to? And sometimes to be a good teacher, you have to understand being a good teacher is not allowing you to do whatever. To be a good adult, to be a good peer is to sometimes just put my foot down and be like, no, and take that backlash. You might not understand, but I know I'm doing it for the betterment. That was just my original point. You just gotta keep those boundaries in the school set. And don't get me wrong, like, I get it because you can become attached to these kids because like someone stated before, like, you know, if you have a love for it, a passion for it, you know, these kids working with them, they give you purpose outside yourself. And it's like, you know, you really do can have a, when they doing their part, you really do can have a fun time with them. You know, you gotta like, just joke with them. Let J-Lo, you're not finna be following me. I don't want you all on my page and I'm not finna be scrolling. You're not finna dilute my TL with all these to be honest and these lashes. Look, girl. What? Yes, we not taking a picture. We'll take a picture on the last day of school. That way you can be like, okay, bye, we leaving. That's a celebration. I'm finna get away from y'all for the summer. What? You getting your mama nerves like this? And she is. She got back with that boy. He got that girl pregnant. Now you know you're not supposed to be telling your mom business. Don't be going around here telling your mom business, people. You can tell me though, because I ain't gonna tell them about it, but you tell me. Listen, Jayla, go home and make sure I hope you get into this home or like you can get into your mom business. Okay, come back tomorrow. Let me know what he do, okay? Okay. You know, stuff like that. And it's like one thing about kids, even the ones you think is solid, even like the ones who look older, like you get to talking to them about 15 and you realize, you are a child. You get on my nerves. You know what I'm saying? Like I never forget at school I was working with, you would have thought these kids were like my peers or older than me. I'm seeing students with neck tattoos on their eye. I never forget this one time I was working at the daycare, right? There's this one dude who walked in and I'm thinking I literally thought he was picking up his child. So I'm like, hey, you here to pick up? Who you here to picking up with? Okay, I'll send him to go pick him up. I'm just chopping up with him like, how's life? I want to say I was like 24 at the time. So I'm like, how's life? Talking. One of the workers, because they know, when they came around the corner, it's like, how would you think he is? I said, I don't know, about my age, or maybe like, 23, 24. They said, he 15. Mind you, I'm like, 15? The dude was like taller than me, had a full face. I'm like, 15 what? 15 size and shoes? Mind you, I'm tall myself. I'm 6'2", I'm a big man. So looking up at him, I'm like, if you put us right next to each other, you would have thought we went to the same university. But here's the kicker though. He may have looked like he could have been my twin, or he may have looked like he could have been my brother. You spend a day with them. Like it's in, what's the word? Whatever the word is. Like, but it's like you can just feel that 15-year-old come out. And like, you're a child, and when stuff goes left, you're still going to look at me as the adult. No matter if you're taller than me, bigger than me, buffer than me, you still realize, Mr. Malik, I need help. Mr. Taylor, I need help with something. It's the dynamic it should be. So I don't know. And for what it's worth, they do be good kids. They get on my nerves? Yes. But, do they got good hearts? Yeah, that's true. So it's like, yeah, you should always have a certain love there for your students, but that don't mean you have to like them, and that's the biggest thing. Okay, before I segue into my next topic, this literally just happened as I was editing. Y'all done made that man mad because he been clapping back at a lot of y'all and just like trying to point out a lot of the hypocrisy. So for one, he did start off with a video saying that his original video was inappropriate. I'm gonna play that.
This video, I agree, it was unprofessional. I am not negating that. Me getting my hair unbraided at the school, at my place of employment, yes, that was highly unprofessional. I get that. I'm not arguing with that. But I am what you call a unprofessional in some ways, unprofessional, eclectic, unconventional teacher. A lot of the things that I do can be viewed by some people as being unprofessional.
Then he started talking and bringing up all these other people, and he's just like, well, what's the difference with this? What's the difference between that person? Why I get held at the stake?
What's got you pissed off today? I'll start. This is your sign to bedazzle your teacher's head. Roll the clip. Why is this man not being publicly executed like I was? There's a few subtle differences, but we essentially did the exact same thing. This man is getting his head bedazzled, so they're not even touching his hair, they're literally touching his scalp. I have a teacher with students in close proximity to him. He's clearly a good teacher. He's clearly built a bond with these students. They feel comfortable with him, similar to me. The school year, letting his kids have fun, probably at the end of class, like my video. Students' faces are shown in the video. It's all over the internet. Working arduously to try to find everything to destroy this man, like y'all did. Why are we not dragging this man through the mud like I was dragged through the mud? Before someone says it, everything that y'all tried to dig up about me was cap. I addressed every single thing that y'all tried to dig up about me to try to fit this narrative that I'm a monster. None of it held weight, and I addressed every single one of it. I've been transparent this entire time. I was never texting my students. People saw a video of me reading messages from my phone and automatically assumed that I was texting my students. They were emails, and I was reading my work email from my personal device. Next. Oh, he was shooting a shot. He shot a shot at a high school girl. Since when does joining a viral trend along with millions of other TikTok users equate to shooting your shot at someone? Since when does stitching someone's video and joining a trend equate to shooting your shot at someone? Next. Lastly, I don't know how the internet found out I was fired before I did. How does that work? That's exactly why we can't just see things on the internet and just take it and run with it. When you assume, you make an ass out of yourself. It brings me back to the question, why do we not have this same energy with this teacher here? Y'all got a nice, in-depth, eloquently put explanation as to why I was getting my hair undone. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I firmly believe that I was attacked. And let me add this in here, mainly attacked by my own community. I was attacked by my own community for the most part. But anyway, I firmly believe that I was attacked because I'm a young, handsome black man. People who watched this video and thought anything weird or anything suggestive saw me was attracted to me. I got tattoos. I got an attractive energy, attractive aura. You could sense that through the video. And since you could sense that attractiveness, or since you were attracted to me, you projected your own thoughts and ideologies and traumas and experiences onto me and my children. And that is a hill I'm willing to die on 1,000% of the time. What else could it be? We got Peter Pan here essentially doing the exact same thing that I did, but he's not being attacked. Throughout all this, we had several teachers come forth and show their videos assisting them with their hair. No flack. And I mentioned this in the video. If I was a female teacher, this would not be a problem. And y'all are proving my point. So I guess if I was a female teacher and I was palm colored, this wouldn't have been a problem. Let's stir the pot again. What do y'all think? Why was I publicly attacked when many other people doing the same thing are going scot-free? Y'all mad at me for creating bonds with my students. At least they're not fighting me. At least they're not fighting the teachers. At least my students aren't smoking crack in the bathroom. Y'all mad at me for getting my hair taken out. At least I'm not on the internet seeking validation from minors. This was a teacher that tweeted this. Miss A-Dog said, y'all think my 10th grader's looking at me? My sister, first off, out-of-pocket question. What would even possess someone to come online and say something of that nature? Where's the dress code? Why are you going to school in yoga pants? Those don't even look like yoga pants. They look like long johns. Why are we going to school like that? Sister, you have the whole school looking at you. Probably the custodians as well. She's asking questions she already knows the answer to. She knows exactly what she's doing. Miss A, you got a wagon. Yes, they're looking. Everyone's looking. We got bigger problems here.
Yeah, I gotta make that man mad. But let me just say this. He do make some valid points, but he makes some valid points as to how all of that stuff that he listed was inappropriate. And it's just a thing that every situation you listed, yes, they're an inappropriate gesture. It shouldn't be happening. Every single situation he listed, they did get some backlash to it. Like that lady who was like, do you think my 10th grade was looking at me? On Twitter, they was saying stuff like, this is her information, called and get her fired. She got her lashing. Them kids that was doing drugs and taking shots in the school, we all was doing think piece and conversation piece like what is going on in the school, which is going to be my next point, but what is going on in the schools? This is not okay. Those are some think piece that was going on. Now, it may not have happened on a grander scale, but I'm going to tell you why your situation had all the input, and I'm going to tell you why your situation had a grander backlash. Well, sir, you put it out there on a public backlash, and the algorithm just so happened to crack in your favor, and it let it go viral. And when you let something go viral, it's like all eyes on you. Even that dude, even that teacher who let his students bedazzle them. Like, I'm not saying it's something that I would do, but it's one of those things. Like, it was like I don't want to say it's like a backdoor plot, but it was something where the kids posted onto their social media platform. Now, kids shouldn't be posting adults onto their platform, but it's the thing like it's much stricter rules if a teacher posts a minor on their page than it is if a student posts a teacher on their page. Not saying there's no consequence that be happening, but it is different. It's different. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just different parameters there. But it is something where it's just like, don't be in this teacher head. But it probably was just a thing. It just wasn't it day. You know what I'm saying? It got posted and it was able to fly up on the radar. It just I think yours just so happened to blow up. And then on top of it, it was a repost. So it was like, it did fly on the radar, but then with that repost, it got all eyes on it. And yeah, you could blame it on this factor, you could blame it on that factor. I know he said it, I just think it's because I'm attractive and I just have attractive energy, and the only thing I can think is you people just tried to get with me, you projected it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like Felicia Rashad said once upon a time, okay? You can either take 1% of the blame, or you can take all the blame, but you gotta take some type of accountability for the part that you play. And I know people are saying, oh yeah, the community, we're hard on our own, it's black people, and I don't think it's none of that. I think it's just a thing like, I mean, to a certain extent that is true, but at the end of the day, we're just not gonna act like accountability is not a thing. And that's another thing that the community like to run away from. Accountability. He was wrong in this situation, regardless of his race. He was wrong because you're not supposed, and like everybody he listened in that video, they were wrong. You was wrong as well, because you don't have kids playing in your hair. You was taught as a child, keep your hands, feet, object, all that to yourself. This is not a beauty school, okay? You played a part in this. It went viral. That's just the sad, uncomfortable truth playing this internet game. It's just the sad, uncomfortable truth when you play that internet game. All eyes just so happened to be on you, and they all wasn't positive. They was negative because they felt like you was doing an inappropriate gesture. Same with all of these other people. It's just all these other people's situation didn't go as viral. Unfortunately for you, the internet algorithm was on your side, but the response just wasn't on your side. And that's the internet game. But I was like, I feel like we keep seeing the same pattern more so than like this thing is becoming a norm. Like we keep seeing like either teachers messing around with students or teachers fighting students, students fighting teachers. Like, school don't even feel like school no more. It's like a big war zone and everybody's just trying to survive. I have a couple reasons why I feel like that, but I just feel like it's a big imbalance. For one, anybody could be a teacher. You know, with this teacher shortage, all you have to do is just have a bachelor's degree and you can be a teacher. It used to be back in the day, you had to like, if I'm not mistaken, you had to go to school and you had to actually major in education and actually get like that child development and just understand how it is, the social status of being a kid. Nowadays, it's not like that. But like I stated, teaching is a passion-based career, meaning people not gonna understand why you always come back. It's just it's a certain love there. You might not get paid the best, you might not be dealt the best hand, but it's a certain love there. But if you're just offered a teaching job, you're going into it with like the survival mindset of a regular 9 to 5, you're gonna be overwhelmed. On top of that, if you're not overwhelmed already, if you have not healed from whatever issues happened in your childhood, if you go back into a school setting, you're gonna go back into the mindset as a peer. I felt like that's like the biggest disconnect, and that's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. You know, if you used to get bullied back in school, if you didn't feel like the coolest person back in school, if you have not dealt with those certain issues, if you have not healed from that, when you get back into a school setting, because it's so easy to get sucked back in, when you get back into the school setting and you use that power dynamic to your advantage, you would get sucked in and you would literally move and think as if yourself as kids' peers instead of being that leader there. That's why we're seeing so many teachers blur that line. They don't see themselves as the adult. And don't get me wrong, these kids, they come push it and they know what buttons to push. And you as the teacher, you as the leader, you have to have that tenacity to just be like, okay, but after a while, you get tired of being Coach Carter. You get tired of that strong black male educator trope, in which, oh my gosh, that's a different video for a different day. But you actually have to mentally prepare yourself for the job you can get yourself into, because it's not just a regular 9 to 5. It's with you forever. You're not just there from 8 to 3. You're from there from 8 to 3, and you have to plan, and you have to grade papers, and you have to prepare. If you don't have a passion for it, your why will go left. But that's why we see so much of an imbalance, because the teachers are just trying to survive, because the teachers don't have a passion for it, and then they just they still form little cliques. And that's why we're seeing a lot of teachers sleeping with these students, because it make them feel young again. You know, you see so many teachers and students just fighting. It's like a norm now, and it's scary. So much spiritual warfare is in the air with these schools and the imbalance. It's scary. It's a lot of spiritual warfare out there in the atmosphere. And that's another conversation that we don't want to talk about. But it's been bad, but it has never been bad to the point to where it's bad now. And it's like we're finally starting to see the effects of, you know, the No Child Left Behind. Well, the child that wasn't left behind are in a position to be parents and teachers, and they're doing nothing but setting up these kids for the future. I know a lot of people be like, oh, I want to soft parent and I want to be the cool teacher, stuff like that. But are you soft parenting or are you hard enabling? Because my thing is this: a lot of people be like, you know, I don't want my kids to be fearful of me. I don't want to be like not have that connection with their teacher, stuff like that. But you have to ask yourself, not saying it was a good thing, but was it kind of like a balance there that maybe some of us should have been afraid of our parents, and not afraid of them to where we can't talk to them, but maybe it was a good thing that some of us had that dynamic there where to know, like, if a teacher called my parent today, I should be some type of fearful. I should be act right in a sense, because I know it's gonna be some type of consequences there. I know for me, if my teacher called my daddy saying, oh, Malik is being disrespectful, oh, bet not stop me in the middle of my day to tell me that my child is being disrespectful. You have to ask yourself, was that such a bad thing? Was it a bad thing that my teacher set those boundaries and they got on to me, and they got on to me for certain things? Did they always get it right? No, but maybe I needed that to keep me into check. Maybe it did take a village. Just ask yourself. You have to understand it is a type of power dynamic. I have a cousin, she does gentle parenting, but she do it to a T. I'm talking about she got it to the point, she the type of parent, she ain't gotta whoop her child, she ain't gotta yell at him, but let's say, I remember I started in effect, did something where he was trying to do it, he was trying to get a little antsy and be like, no. She said, did I yell at you? He said, no. She said, did I get on to you? Did I say something bad to you? He said, no. She said, so why are you doing that to me? Over an iPad, really? So now you just lost your iPad, give it to me. And it's like, boom, that's how you do it. I'm not saying that you have to yell at your child, but it's like a ta-ta-ta. What am I teaching you? Let's talk about, let's get through, but it's gonna be some type of concept. Give me that iPad for like 5 minutes. Just cool off. I'm just saying, I might not know what I have to say in this video, but that's all I have to say to all of that. What are y'all thoughts on this whole teacher situation? I think after this is gonna be the last I'll talk about with that situation with that teacher. All your thoughts in the comment section. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.